Welcome to Soul Traveler Radio Show, and we have a very special guest. One of our very first Zoom recordings where we've decided to go onto YouTube with this one. He's a very special guest. His name is Kenji Kumara, and he actually has does quantum light weaving, which is incredible. So let's welcome to the show, Kenji Kumara. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing great. How are you there?
Fantastic. I'm in Australia, and you're actually heading down under on a tour. Now we're going to talk about that soon.
Down under or up under, whatever. Yeah.
Well, we're down to you. So you're based in Sedona?
I am, yes.
Yeah. And so we're going to have a bit of a talk about what quantum light weaving is, and, you know, the activations that you do. And then we're going to have a bit of a chat about what you're doing in Australia. And I believe at the end of the show, you're going to do an activation with us.
Yeah, we'll do a little short activation, prayer, attunement, whatever you want to call it.
Fantastic. So, Kenji, let's just start by asking a little bit about you. How did you start? Tell us a bit about your background.
Well, when I was 5, I asked my mom, who am I? And she said, you're Japanese. And I think that officially was the start of my quest. So after I got out of the service, I worked for a year and then went to college. And all I wanted to study was metaphysical stuff. And there wasn't much around at that time. But I did the best I could in seeking out swamis from India, psychics, transmediums, as they were known back then, healers. And over the decades, I studied a lot of energy work, body work, psycho-spiritual therapy, coaching, as they call it now. And so after many decades, I decided, well, I better create something that's uniquely me. So I named my business Quantum Lightweaving back in 2007 and have been, I guess you could say, on this level of quantum awareness, consciousness, since about 2004. Although I was introduced to this meditative state of connecting within and doing body work through Dr. Milton Traeger back in 1981. So that was my first experience in the quantum realm, you could say. And I really applied everything that I have learned from other people as well as myself, off and on since 1975.
Wow. And there's a lot of talk about like quantum. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, that to me is a very safe term for referencing the oneness, or the universal energy, or Christ consciousness, God consciousness, basically higher self-awareness.
Yeah. So with quantum light weaving, what actually happens with that? I mean, what does that do?
Well, again, it's just a reference name. But what we share with people is what I feel is a very easy approach to guiding people within so they can make that deep inner connection that doesn't have any dogma or any labels to it, and then help them as best we can to apply that awareness and that experience into their daily life.
Yeah. And how does that, talking about, I guess that awareness, is that the same as what you would have if you were meditating or like doing your own meditation? Does this fast track that whole process at all?
Yeah, it's basically taking that meditative state and awareness and applying it to your relationships, how you make money, business relationships, spiritual questing, whatever it is. What I've learned is to take all the complicated stuff that people have taught over the decades, all that complicated stuff, put it aside and develop something that's very simple. Because I like the Buddhist teachings about keeping it simple and staying in the middle ground. In other words, don't go to extremes with anything, but just stay in the middle path, keep it simple, keep it honest, keep it transparent, be yourself, and share what you know.
I just want to clarify this. So this is not a religious practice. This is spirituality and going within, correct?
Yes, it doesn't involve anything having to do with religion or really spiritual spiritual orientation in the sense of how we know that. I always try to keep everything in a universal context so they can relate to anybody, whether they're atheists, whether they're religious people, whether they're spiritual questers, change agents, coaches, healers, doctors, garbage collectors. So what I've learned over the years is to be able to communicate to anybody using their language. So speaking heart to heart, basically. So the teachings are about that. It's keeping everything simple, coming from the heart. Don't make it complicated. Don't go to extremes. Just stay here, present, focused.
So if I came to you to participate in one of your courses, what does that involve? What does that look like? Just for people who are thinking to go to one of your to the retreat on the Gold Coast or in Australia, what does that look like?
Well, after registering and making a commitment that you're going to attend, how to keep this so that it's clarified enough. So let's just give you an example of my philosophy, in a way, my approach when I teach in retreats, as an example. But it also applies to my online events. It applies to my membership program. Really applies to everything I do. So first of all, we set the space for people to feel comfortable in the way they can be themselves. And, we give them guidelines for the retreat. And then we emphasize that what we're going to do experientially is to go to all those places where people want to go but have a difficult time in getting there and experiencing that. See, everything is presented spontaneously. So I don't necessarily have an outline of I'm going to say this and then this and this.
Sure.
So it just all kind of comes through in the moment. And this is actually what I want to share with people is how to present yourself in the world in a more spontaneous way, to where you don't pre-think, you don't prejudge or any of that stuff. And if you're just yourself, you can begin to manifest the kind of life you want.
I think that's great, because I think a lot of people go into, any sort of activation or oneness or anything like that, and they go, okay, just give me the guidelines of what I've got to do here so that I can do them, and then my life will be, perfect. It doesn't work like that.
Well, here's what we strive for, if we're striving for anything, is to give people an experience of their essential nature experience. And then we suggest to them how they can apply that experience in their daily life. So we're going from the old way of here's the technique, and here's what you do in your mantra, here's what you do in your meditation, and then you'll get to this place. We don't necessarily do that. So once people have an experience of tapping in and going, oh my God, that's what it feels like. Okay, then we can suggest them how they can apply that in anything in their life. Because this is what I've seen. So once you have that experience, you can apply it because you have that experience. And some people say, well, I don't know how to get there. And then I say, okay, you don't have to know how to get there. Just follow what's being channeled, in a sense, in this activation, and just be open to receive. So we teach people how to be open to receive, because a lot of people have issues with that.
So when you're talking about like the activation, are you talking about coming to that point of understanding what our purpose is?
We can do anything in an activation, whether it's healing a body issue, an emotional issue, healing a past life, healing a future life, creating more money in your business, in your private practice. It could be anything. But we're going for the kingdom within, right? Seek the kingdom within first, and then all the keys will be given unto you. That is true. So if we go to the kingdom within, wow, that's our grace.
Yeah. People
don't know how to find it. Yeah. But we teach them first how to relax. Because if you're not relaxed and you're agitated, you won't experience anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess just going back to like when you first started this process, when this came through to you, I mean, how did that actually like come through? I mean, was it just like a bolt of lightning, or?
We'll go back to 1983. So I'm teaching a one-day workshop in Tucson, Arizona. And back then, I didn't know what I was doing. And in fact, I still don't know what I'm doing. Let's just say back then, right? I'm presenting some healing techniques that people can take with them because they're like healers and body workers. And so I just tune in and then I start teaching. Now, nobody taught me how to do that. I just went, okay, let's see what comes up. And so we would give them the teachings. Let's fast forward to 2007, when I was more conscious of the quantum, the application of quantum theory in teaching body work, healing work. So I say, okay, we're going to do an activation, and I have no idea what it's going to be. So I sit down there with my recorder, and I close my eyes. I go within, and then I just open my mouth, and the information starts coming. And then after like 40 minutes, we come out, and I go, I'm reflecting now on like what just happened. I go, wow, I didn't know I knew that, or I didn't know like that information was going to come through. And then when we ask people, was it relevant? And they go, was spot on. So somehow we're creating activations that are person specific, even though it's in a group, as if the energy and the words were speaking to each person personally for exactly what they needed to experience and hear in that moment.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. But nobody taught me how to do that.
Just kind of
energetically, I am like knowing that I'm speaking to each person in that group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's in the circle of light.
Wow. So let's talk about your Australian tour before we do an activation or do a light weaving session with you. Where are you going from? You're actually going to be over here for quite a while, right?
Yes, approximately 30 days.
Yeah,
pretty much the month of September. And we've already contracted with certain venues in the Melbourne area. Since your country is very big, can't hit all the big cities in one trip. So we decided to focus in Melbourne. So I don't remember the names of the places, but we're probably at about 4 different venues. And we're going to be offering evening and weekend during the day introductions at a very low cost so people can come in. Young and old, any path, any faith, to experience the work. I'll talk about what's happening with earth changes. We're talking about what really is necessary for people to, get centered and get with their life in a way that's not stressful. So we're going to talk about different levels of how to create peace in your life. We'll give them an activational experience, and we'll say we're going to offer this retreat, you know, in sort of the middle part of September at this particular retreat center, and that we're also available for personal 1-hour sessions so people can experience, and this is like a different level of the work, people experiencing a personal session where they'll go down on a mat or they'll collapse in a chair, so to speak, energetically, depending upon what equipment I have. And I will sit in meditation with them for almost an hour. And it's like we'll go into the quantum together energetically. So it's not like me doing it for them. It's together. We're going to take people together into the quantum in the silence so they can get downloaded what they need and what they're ready for. And we'll talk about resistance and why people don't heal. We'll talk about, again, the earth changes and how it's affecting humanity, how it's affecting Australia, how it's affecting the Aborigines, how it's affecting all levels of one's life, and how we can ride the wave of these changes so we don't get overwhelmed and give up and go, oh my God.
Yeah, and that's a massive need in this on the planet at this time, where people do get overwhelmed with everything that's happening in their lives.
Yes, yes, and we'll help people to like clear away the clutter and to keep disengaged from tribal consciousness and the chaos of the news and the wars and the conflicts and the breakdown of governments and all of that. Yes. So the way that we help humanity is getting tuned into ourselves, and then that radiation goes out to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're not saving the world. We are helping people to save themselves so that we can come together more as a collective consciousness to uplift the suffering of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the Gold Coast event, which is a pretty big part of the whole trip, is and I say Gold Coast, it's not actually Gold Coast. It's at the Gaimea Eco Retreat and Spa, and it's called The Path to Illumination and Liberation. And this will be a complete immersion retreat, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the goal, again, is the experience of illumination within self.
Yeah.
And the liberation from the suffering that one is carrying in their bodies and in their minds, and in the collective. You know, in Australia, in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Byron Bay, Adelaide.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this retreat, I think it's located in Yukai, just at the base of Mount Warning. It's a beautiful place, and if you have never been there, I mean, just to spend 5 days there is just amazing. Now, that will be from September 19th to the 23rd. And all of the other dates that we talked about, you know, in Melbourne and everywhere else, you can actually go to Kenji Kumara. So it's KenjiKumara.com. And just click on the links. You'll find out all the information about the retreat in Australia. We'll also be on YouTube and on Facebook. We'll actually have the links available. So if you want to book, you just click on the link to find out more. So thanks for explaining a little bit about what you do and what quantum light weaving is. Let's experience a little bit of it now. Okay. If you don't mind, if you can do I guess a short meditation activation.
Okay, so again, this is spontaneous, no plan. So let's have everybody just do this, putting your hands together over your chest. This is a prayer pose, and it will initiate certain kinds of vibrations in your body just by doing this. So we're going to do this. And we're going to breathe into the hands. Just bring awareness to the hands. Your hand chakras are very powerful. So we're just going to breathe in and feel the vibrations that are coming from the heart and from the hands. And we're going to suggest for each one of you to bring into awareness now something that's been troubling you for, say, the last 2 years. So 2017, 2018, well, it goes back to 2016. But just think about something that's been bothering you that you would like resolution with. Could be any level, could be anything, person, situation, event, something that hasn't happened in your life that should have happened, loss of a loved one, a trauma, anything. And just bring it into the awareness, into the heart. Now, we're going to call in all of your helpers on the inner planes. And you can call them angels, archangels, ascended masters, light beings, presence of God. It doesn't matter. Just call in your helpers. Call in that energy that has supported you for your whole life that you weren't aware of. And just be with that. With your hands, be with the issue that you would like healing with, resolution with, clarity with. And we're just going to sit for a moment and be, and just be, and breathe. Allow, let go of everything, your to-do list, let go of everything that's happening in the world. Just be present here. And then hold the knowing that it is done. That whatever you're holding here, it is done. It is done in the name of God. It is done in the name of your higher self. It is done in the name of the Earth Mother. And now hold this feeling of gratitude and appreciation, for it is done already. And now put your hands like this, just against your chest, and bless your body. Thank your body for being alive. Thank your body for being a vessel for your incarnation and your learning. And then feel what it's like to be open to massive changes in your life starting today. Feel what it's like to have your life run smoothly with more joy, more peace, more love for yourself. And then when you're ready, just slowly open your eyes and be here. Be now. So Shayne, this is just an example of a spontaneous activation.
Yeah.
So they're never the same.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
So it was right for the audience.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm able to tune in to the audience and then present, channel, if you will, the right kinds of energies and words. This is what I can teach people at these retreats.
And so you will actually be doing some one-on-one sessions at the retreats as well?
No, but
No?
we dialogue with the group.
Yeah.
And I pick on people in the group and we dialogue. And then I'll speak to the whole group. And we have a lot of funniness going on because the comedy team's always present in these events.
Yeah.
Comedy team meaning we bring in those beings that have a light heart and know about comedy and humor and all of that. And those, obviously to lighten up the heaviness.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Well, look, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. And like I said, we are going to put all of the links for your website, for Facebook, where you can actually register. That will all be on both YouTube, on our website, on the Facebook page. So if you're watching this video now, just have a look on the bottom of underneath the video, and you'll see all of the links. And it's been a pleasure chatting with you today. And we ask that you look after yourself over the next few weeks, so that you can come here in good health and vibration, and just impart some incredible work to everyone in Australia.
Well, thank you, and I so am looking forward to coming. It's going to be like a homecoming for me.
So good. Kenji Kumara, thank you very much for joining us on Soul Traveller Radio.
Thank you.
So this has been Shayne Locke chatting today with Kenji Kumara. You can have a look at his website, kenjikumara.com, and just feel free to leave a comment down below. If you'd like to know more, just leave us a comment, and we can direct you directly to Kenji. Thanks for joining us.